Well,
Recording in
good
progress.
morning, good night, good evening, and buenas noches.
And good luck.
Yeah, so I wanted to see if you guys wanted to chit chat or just jump right into the signs.
I don't
What
care.
are you feeling? What
Feeling good.
Feeling good in the
feeling good as you
neighborhood.
should?
So I think we might as well just jump right in the signs. I think we're on
Mike
Cancer,
has a
right?
hood on.
Yep.
I got meaner as we went, so I'll probably end up pretty mean on Sagittarius. I think it's because I was drinking last time. I remember by the end I was just Geminis are lying pieces of shit, thieves, tricksters, and Nick was over there. No, Geminis are actually quite nice people. And I was like, no, they're pieces of shit. So I'm going to try not to get like that with Sagittarius, although
That's not what I remember.
they are pieces of shit.
You were emphasizing the well, the problem is that like no, I get it. It's a thing with their nature of when you have such polarity within yourself, it's much harder to wield. And most people who don't know how to wield it, well, they it's the thing is that like they don't have internal integrity in the sense that like that they are supporting themselves, and so it ends up being this topsy turvy personality unless people have learned how to fortify and balance it or balance
Yeah.
it, you know. And so it is a very problematic in the same way that like some of these other signs are, you
Yeah.
know. But and the thing is, because it's a multi-natured thing, it requires more pattern recognition, than some other signs, like let's say Aries, to just be like, I should stop running into shit.
Pattern recognition is racist. So
Well, that's
just
true
so you know.
too. Yeah, but so is jogging, and I don't want to be fat, so
So is
True.
jogging.
It's true. It
Okay,
is.
yeah,
So
jogging is
and
racist
hiking.
too. So
it's a white people thing.
Yeah.
Well, speaking
So
of
in the
Gemini,
meantime,
coming after What? What? Oh, okay, good. I was just gonna ask you.
yeah, we're gonna go back to
Geminis
our
are
favorite
definitely
site
two-faced liars. So.
that we
What?
totally knew about before we started the show last time.
You
what
Gemini
are you talking?
haters.
What?
Gemini. I actually my brother's Gemini. I love him.
Yeah.
And I
like
have many
Gemini.
Geminis that I love in my life that are good people. I tend to like the ones that have Earth moons, actually. Geminis
Oh.
with Earth moons,
Ah.
I get along with the best.
I like Lindy.
All right. So, Gemini, it
We
is
already
air element.
we already
Life
talked about Gemini.
Hello.
Skip
Did
ahead
we?
to
We're on to
Cancer.
Cancer, dude.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what?
Cancer.
My mom's a Gemini, so I just really wanted to, emphasize that.
Aw.
Hi, Mom.
Huh. Very cute.
Aw.
Uh,
Hi, Troy's mom.
all right. Let's have a positive attitude, and let's have a can-do attitude as we can, sir, and we
Sir.
talk about cancer.
Yeah.
You know,
Color white. Uh-oh.
I'm sick of
Oh.
Cancer culture. Wait, no,
Hey.
never mind.
Yeah,
That was a bad
we
joke.
do. Yeah, I guess we have to get out the proverbial and the fuck cancer. Um,
Yes.
it is a
You never see a
water
bumper
element.
sticker that says "fuck Sagittarius," do you? Nope.
Yep. Nope. Not as often. Not as often.
Not as
That as a
often.
suggestion.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
I mean,
Sure,
They have
why
to
not?
really care. They
I
have
do
to
live
really
in
care.
Eugene, so it's not out of the ordinary.
They hate them because of their freedom.
It's a cardinal sign. Monday and Thursday. Cause
Thursday,
the is the
come on.
moon, and we're gonna go
Mondays.
2, 3, 15, and 20 because
Wow.
that is facts.
Did they get the general compatibility right again? No, they got it wrong completely again.
Capricorn and Taurus. Interesting. They
Yes,
always go
'cause
opposite.
They always
Yeah.
go the opposite, and then some, like usually one good one and the opposite, which is
Yeah.
Well, but it's interesting because maybe
opposites can attract,
their whole
but
approach to
difficult.
relationships and balancing energy is external rather than internal. So
Yeah.
that they're like, in order to balance your energy, you need someone else. So maybe that's part of the reason that they're doing that compatibility like that, because the way that they
Yeah.
approach relationships is that way.
That's not bad. Good insight, Troy. Look at you. You're learning. Troy's learning.
I think this website is
I'm
hot garbage, but
learning.
it's nice. So
opposites attract, and then they
Strengths.
drive each other crazy.
yes, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Tenacious, highly imaginative, loyal, emotional, sympathetic, and persuasive. Weakness, moody, pessimistic, suspicious, manipulative, insecure.
Yes.
Interesting.
I would say all of those are pretty right. Let's go through them
Yeah.
though. They
Yeah.
do
Let's.
hold on tight to things, right? And
Yeah.
people, tenacious. They've got those crab claws, right? They hold on. They sometimes hold people back. Have you ever heard about crabs in a bucket? Like when one
Oh
tries
yeah,
to get out, the other crabs will pull it back down. Um,
Aquabats has an excellent song about it.
they're
Oh,
known as pretty tribal and clannish. Actually, the really cancers are usually known as more into their more patriotic. That's like one of the things that kind of comes across with them. They're more like attached to whatever culture they're part of. They tend to be the ones that keep the traditions going. They're really caught up in like cycles, like the big ones and the little ones, being very lunar. They go through their own cycle. I mean, women cancers is very obvious, but men cancers have some form of it too, where they go through kind of the emotional ups and downs every month.
oh
So
yeah, they did. Yeah, they have their periods too. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. No, it's very true. And I just want to go back to the compatibility side of it because this Taurus over here, Amber, she all of her favorite musicians are cancers. So what do you say to that? Why is that? What do you think?
Again, my chart ruler isn't a Cancer.
Okay, well
So.
that's different. Okay, well you know what? Good insight. Let's go. Uh,
Good
But no,
insight.
I
Let's
mean,
get it going.
I
Yeah,
do
let's get
appreciate
going.
like
We
I
we
mean,
should have a music episode
I was
sometime.
throwing. I
Write
was
that down.
passing you the ball, and yeah.
but no,
Well,
I mean I do appreciate they are more soulful and in tune with their emotions when you're making music. Those are important things to have. I mean, unlike a lot of EDM music, if you want to even call it music, which is like kind of like dead inside and it's kind of awful. It's like a void of emotion.
that's a
Do
jab
you
at me.
like EDM music, Nick? Is this a? It is a diss on you, huh? Okay.
It
My
is.
wife
No,
also hates it,
it was
and
a
We were
whenever I
jab at
wondering
play
where
me.
it,
the
she's
we were
like,
wondering
"How
where
dare
the
you?"
sun was come to
Yeah.
spice in those peppers.
Huh. So imaginative. I would say they're pretty imaginative. They are really loyal.
Uh,
Um, I think
emotional.
they're.
Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh no, just I was gonna go. No, no. Finish your thought. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying
Oh,
emotional is obvious.
yeah. So highly imaginative. They are very because they're emotional. I mean, this is kind of the same with Pisces or any of the water signs, but Pisces and Cancer especially are more likely to kind of get the Delulu aspect because they're more likely to kind of live in their emotions, live in their projections, and that can be
Enjoy
really
their
powerful
fantasies.
for art. What?
Yeah.
Would you say enjoy their fantasies?
Yeah, I really enjoy their fantasies for sure.
So they're more of an escapist in that sense that they love their escapisms.
They're less of escapists than Pisces is, because they get to work. They're cardinal, right? Cardinal
Yeah.
Okay.
is the driving force of the zodiac, so they do work. I mean, the card that's associated with them in tarot is the chariot. It's like the vehicle, driving the vehicle and conquering the world, being kind of protected from the world by your shell, right? Your vehicle, and then moving forward with it. So it's like they're really good. They tend to be really good small business owners, like, which is kind of crazy. They're really good at starting something that serves their community. They
Oh
tend to
yeah.
be really community minded, and wanting to be like a part of the community, part and parcel of the community.
Oh yeah.
How would you
Very,
say cancers solve problems?
ooh, good
What's their
question.
go-to?
That's a good question. They brood about it, but then they gently talk it out with you, but not like talk it out like a Gemini would. They'll like be like, oh, I'm feeling this way. Oh, I feel this way. Like, and they kind of will not emotionally manipulate. Maybe that's like I mean, it does say manipulative, but like they'll kind of be like, well, I feel this way. It hurt me, blah, blah, blah. And then they kind of expect you to go, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. So it's kind of like they'll present to you the issue that they feel, and then you're expected to respond in kind in like a way where you go like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, and so depending on what sign you are, what planets you have in signs, is how you kind of respond to that. Like, so like if someone's got a lot of air or, Capricorn in their chart strongly, they might not, they'll just be like, oh, well, that's nice. Like, fuck your feelings. But like, they expect, like, they want to talk it out in a way where it's like, oh, I'm feeling this way, this is bothering me, these things are affecting me, let's talk it out, and then
Well,
they, yeah.
no, I hear you. And part of what I'm asking is not just interpersonal problems, but just like how do they solve problems in general? Do they, are they,
They can be
are they,
very stabby depending on the crab. I mean, Cancer is number one in murder for a reason.
well,
Mhm.
I'm just saying like there's fight or flight in those sense, but there's also like, do they research? Do they evaluate? Do they jump to conclusions? Like what's
They
their
vibe. They're more vibers.
gotcha?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
the water signs are vibers. So they'll like it's like vibing is about finding the
Probing.
right timing to move forward, right? They a person that really kind of goes by their intuition or gut, which cancers definitely do, tend to wait for like the opportunities will kind of show themselves and then they just move when the opportunities come if it feels right, right? And that's
Yeah.
like not necessarily like what business school would tell you or whatever, but it works really well for some people. And cancer is one of those signs that it works pretty well for. I've seen tons of them do really well in going out, especially for themselves. They don't tend to like, most of the cardinal signs don't really like working under other people because they want to be like the boss of their own life, at least, if not the boss of other people.
Well,
Yeah.
it sounds like they're more flexible, hands-on problem solvers kind of thing.
Yeah, they'll talk it out with people. That is, they figure out where people are coming from because often in business, what you really have is a problem with morale or you have a problem with motivation. Cancers are really good at motivating, bringing up morale, getting people focused. Their weak side is their guilt trippers, right? So,
Mm,
and what, and that's manipulative. That's like how they manipulate people is with their emotions, right? They're like, if you didn't want me to feel this way, you would do what I tell you to do, right? Which is
yeah.
pretty much works for everybody except for the air signs and Capricorn, like he was saying.
Yeah.
Um,
So
like
it's
I'm to,
feeling based rather than duty based in the way that they're shaming people mainly, right?
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Air
And
signs don't like it because it's what is it? It's irrational, right? So it's like
Yeah, gotcha.
it,
That makes sense.
because it doesn't actually, there's not logic behind it. So an air sign is gonna, I don't really care about that necessarily. They don't necessarily put as much weight on somebody's emotional reaction.
yeah. And just to add, like, Cancer being the first water sign, it's very much subjective emotions versus like they're very much like, I feel a certain way, that dictates and colors their whole perception of things. And so it's like that's where like the moodiness comes from. It's like depending on their mood, depending on how they feel about a certain situation or person, that will dictate how they go about everything.
Um,
They're very
so so
subjective in how they see things.
so are cancers are they water signs in the sense that and where they're very driven by emotion, very sensitive to emotion, but not necessarily always in tune with their own emotions because they're driving in cardinal?
Yeah.
Uh, I would say that they're mostly in tune with their own emotions. Like, in fact, they're so in tune with their own emotions that they often like aren't seeing shit outside of them. Their emotions color their reality a lot
Okay,
Yeah.
because they're
so
so in
there's
them. They don't
so
get
there's
objective distance from it. They're like the
so it's
opposite
so
of
it's
Aquarius.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
it's the opposite of what I'm saying, where essentially that they're stuck in their own worldview so much that they have a
Yes.
hard time understanding other people's.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
That's
No.
why they tend to be nationalistic. That's why they tend to be like
Gotcha.
patriotic. That's why they tend to be like that's all that connects with all those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
okay.
they're not emotionally wise like to other people's emotions. So like, yeah, like to like, I think that's what you're trying to ask maybe, but it's like they're really good at feeling their own feelings and they're going like, I'm feeling this way because that's just their nature. They express it. That's just what they do. But like if we're talking about like, you know, we haven't gotten around the zodiac enough to where it's like about the other yet. And so they're not as in tune with like, I mean, they can connect. Like if someone's feeling sad, they'll try to nurture and be caring and stuff, but they might not fully like intellectually or otherwise understand like why that person's feeling a certain way or what they're going through. They might just go, "Oh, you feel sad, basic emotion. Okay, I respond to that with caring and nurturing, but they might not like they might not go deep into like well, what's making you feel sad? Let's talk about it. What's the trauma there? What's all this, all like the more complex stuff, which would come into like in the next sign, Scorpio. But it's like they can respond to others' emotions, and they're pretty in tune with their own emotions in terms of like they know how they feel, but I don't think that they think about how they feel. They just feel how they feel and express it. So they're not like, yeah, they
No,
don't.
I get it. I get it that they're it's they're more in tune with their emotions. Cuz see, it was part of the thing is just as you're describing this, I was realizing that this is going to create a blind spot, and is their blind spot going to be directed inside or outside, essentially
Mhm.
from their, from their, because we all have essentially all the signs have trade-offs,
Oh
so
yeah.
if you're going to have certain things and certain attributes that kind of double up over here and make you stronger in certain areas, that's going to by definition give you blind spot in the opposite, you know
Yes,
Yes.
buddy, you
I
are
mean,
learning so
I would
good.
say because Cancer is lunar ruled, you also want to look at the moon placement in the chart, and that would probably give you some better insight
yeah, yeah,
as to where their blind spots might be emotionally, either internally
exactly,
or externally.
Fuck yeah.
exactly. No,
Hell
that
yeah.
that
Well
totally
said.
makes
Well
sense.
said. Yeah.
Yep. Because you can have a really aware Cancer that, like a Cancer with an Aquarius moon, for example,
Ooh.
um, might be able to get outside of their emotions more than a normal heavier
Exactly.
Cancer might be able to, So
Oh
it
yeah.
depends on other placements as always, but there are certain things that definitely come up. It's
No,
also
but
like
yeah.
it rules
Okay.
the breast, which is like, and it rules motherhood, which is like, it's very matriarchal energy to a certain
Yeah.
extent,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we're
Um,
talking about these as the energies, at which, happens to be most often it's going to be talking about their sun or their rising sign kind of thing.
yep.
But I do recognize that, like, that's why I'm asking the questions about this, so that it's just like, oh, if that's their Mercury or whatever,
No, no.
it's be like, oh, okay, so these are the energy pattern that is going to rule this type of uh thing in your chart.
No, exactly. You make a really good point there because like yeah, like someone with like a Mercury in Cancer, like that's
Yeah.
their mind is going to be that way. Someone with like Venus in Cancer, that's how they're going to
Yep.
relate and love others. Someone with Mars in Cancer, that's how they're going to use their energy. Their energy might be a little more emotional, more subdued than someone with a different like. So absolutely, like what planet you have in the signs we're talking about makes a big difference. And not like it doesn't mean that like it just means that it'll 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 flavor and taint the whatever planets in that sign. So like Mercury doesn't do well in Cancer, for example, because it's Mercury is just rational, quick thinking, intellectual, detached, and just wants to get to the point. But Cancer kind of muddies that a little bit. Whereas
Yep.
like like a Venus in Cancer might be a little more positive because it's like, oh, they're very like loving and
Yeah.
nurturing. And so it's just, yeah, you make a really good point, Troy. Like the planet in the sign, like, yeah, we're talking about like basically the sun, or the rising. But yeah, like if you have other planets in those signs, it'll shift how that planet expresses and alter it. This applies to all the signs as we talk about them. But yeah, that's a really good point because that's important because I think people, we don't focus enough on, we always assume sun sign, but it's like, no, like someone with like a Mercury in Cancer, again, for example, is like, they're going to think differently and come across
Yeah.
in how they communicate differently. So,
Yeah. Well, that's
Be a
and the
lot more
thing is,
emotionally driven
oh yeah.
for sure.
I've been around
Let's
enough astrologers over the years that I get like a lot of as more or less I've said, like the grammar of it. I get like the structure of astrology more than the actual basics, and that's one reason I wanted to do this, is so
Oh
that we
yeah.
can isolate this, so that when it's like, oh, it is in this house or this whatever, it starts to make sense. I can actually start to learn how the extra things actually apply, because I understand the basics. So this is just
Yeah.
going over the basics, which most mastery in everything is built by practice of the fundamentals.
Fuck yeah.
That's true.
Well,
Speaking of fun, Leo puts the fun in fun. Wait, fun. Never mind. Let's go into Leo.
I can do that.
wait, before I just want to point out the funny, go back to Cancer real quick. Sorry, just one sec.
Okay.
It was Cancer dislikes strangers any criticism of mom.
I did not see that.
I just had to point that out because it made me laugh. Sorry, you
This
can move on
reminds
to
me of
Leo.
one funny thing about Cancer too. A Cancer will absolutely just spend hours talking shit about their family with you. And if you say one word, even agree with them when they're talking shit, they'll be like, they'll often be really mad at you. So you got to be
Oh
careful
yeah.
around Cancers. They're allowed to talk shit, but you're not allowed to. It's very strange.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Here's another one, I guess, before we go on. Revealing of personal life. So does that mean that loyalty and not secrecy, but confidentiality
Yeah.
are, yeah, so those are really important too.
Yeah, that's the shell a little bit, right? The
Yeah,
shell is
yeah.
about keeping people that it's none of their
Makes
business
sense.
out of their lives, to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
They're protective because then it means that then they have to, someone could attack them, and it's a protectiveness, and they're like that with the people close to them as well. So, anyways, Leo.
Well, and if there is it true that crabs only walk sideways, or
Mm, you'll have to look that up. I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
know. They scuttle.
Yeah,
I
I
know
think they
that.
do. Side to side. Crabs walk. Crab walk. There it is. First thing that pops up.
I'm looking at the keyboard, sorry.
Crabs primarily walk sideways because
Yeah.
it's more efficient, but they can walk forward, backward, and diagonally.
Okay.
That makes a very
They're like
interesting
a
thing for
queen.
Cancers. So Cancers want to move more
Ah.
parallel in life rather than forward because it's easier for them.
Yeah,
Is that
and that
true?
actually no,
Interesting.
that's
a good insight.
yeah, fucking Troy, you're on it tonight. Exactly. They'll kind of shift back and back forward. Moving forward is a little more difficult for them. They'll do it when they have to or when it's necessary, but like yeah, they like to kind of just shift side to side, side to side. They're not ones to like. Whereas Capricorn is just gonna go fucking. Let's go forward.
They're the
Let's move
climbers.
forward. Exactly, like forward all day
Well,
long.
Cancer doesn't want to leave behind. Like a Cancer doesn't want to leave behind like spaces, places, people. They hate letting go of shit. Like this is like a often problem that comes up with Cancers is they can't like get rid of items that have some emotional meaning to them. So they tend more towards hoarders. Them and Taurus like tend more towards hoarders than the other signs do. It's true. It's just the way it is. The Cancer shit is it's the Taurus shit. They both hold on to shit.
I mean,
So-
Taurus and Cancer have they share a lot of
Yeah.
similarities, basically.
And the love of food.
Yes.
And
Alright.
the love of niceness.
Well, sweet. That's a great insight. Because
Oh,
again,
yeah.
if you're going back to like how it corresponds with their different placement with that energy, that's gonna be like, hey, the change and movement that you generally get in that area might be lateral rather than forward.
Yeah.
So
And it might be
okay.
that they want to be lateral. That's the thing. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone. Sometimes.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, and it's also just like a lot of things in life, and I've heard this in business where it's just like, there's activities that you're doing where it's like you might be actually doing work and actually moving stuff around, but like, are you actually accomplishing it? Is it actually accomplishing the thing you're doing? And especially like in business, is like, is it ultimately making you money? You know? And when with spiritual stuff, it's like your awareness helps you live a life that you want to live, but then also help you learn the karmic lessons that you're meant to live and learn. So
Word.
Oh yeah.
all right, so Leo, I am Leo moon.
Nice.
Yep.
Putting the hoe in psychotic.
What? We'll get there.
Hey,
Let's.
Astro Bros just
I'll
went
get there.
live, episode 18. It doesn't call it anything, but it just went live. Good job, guys. I don't know how that happened while we're going, but
It must have been happening in the background.
We're already up to 18. All right, I'll take that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got all the episodes up. I'm gonna get.
No, I saw him go up, but
Anyways, I figured out how to do it faster. Like I said,
Nice.
so just a quick interjection. So it's
is
gonna
Amber
happen.
with you knowing how to do it faster?
No.
she's an Aries moon. I mean Taurus, but
It's
I don't
called
know.
efficiency. It's called efficiency.
Yeah.
All right,
It is
Leo.
called
Yeah, I like
efficiency.
efficiency, but I like efficiency
Element
that's done
fire,
quickly.
fire sign. Got lots of that
Thorough
fire.
efficiency
Gonna
is
get
what
burned.
she's saying. That's what she likes.
Too
gotta
personal.
be thorough.
Amber.
Thorough.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah,
and
definitely,
thorough.
definitely thorough. She likes the thorough.
Gold, yellow,
Jesus
orange.
Christ, sorry. Yes. Uh,
It's a
um,
fixed sign.
Rule by the Sun Sunday. Yeah, I like that.
yeah.
It's fixed, and
Yes, why not? Aquarius, the best for Leo. Everybody knows it.
yeah, and Gemini's because
Come
Right.
they're best
on,
for
you
everybody.
fucking
Gem.
what website is this?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. They should have put a
I think
fire
it's an
sign
F.
as the second one. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's
F
it's the
plus.
it's the one I clicked on that wasn't CoStar or Wikipedia,
Mm.
and
I
it was
would
just
say
like, okay, you're good
Gemini,
enough.
Libra, Aries are probably the top three for them.
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah,
those are the top three. The easiest,
Yeah,
at least.
but again,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it like you're, but it's like why everybody goes your top three because knowing your top three gives you a much better semblance of how your things blend rather than just. And cusps matter too. We'll have a whole episode on cusps.
No,
Stay
they
tuned.
do not.
We will
Oh
never
no.
have an episode. It would be fun to do an episode on cuss. I won't say never. It might
No,
be
we'll
fun.
do it. We'll do it. We'll do
Well,
it.
I mean, we couldn't do a whole episode. It would just be a sketch. I
We
mean,
could talk
Yeah.
about all sorts of cusps. I'm on the cusp of the millennials and the Generation X. I'm an Xennial, for example. That's the cusp.
Ooh.
I
But
hear that.
truly, I'm X.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I mean, just it's so funny that now that Generation Beta is out, and that's totally like
We
completely.
cannot name them that. It's
Yeah,
absolutely rude
yeah,
to name
yeah, yeah.
a generation beta. Are you kidding me?
Pluto and
Absolutely rude.
Aquarius.
We need to come
Yeah,
up with a different name. We
yeah.
can't let the boomers name any other generations. I'm telling you. They fucked it up so many times. They
We
were
could call
like,
them like
oh,
Plan B.
we don't know what to call them. How about we just call them Generation X?
B.
Fucking dicks. Excuse me.
uh,
Very
so
upset about
Leo's
that.
strengths are
Yes.
creative, passionate, generous,
Oh.
warm-hearted, cheerful, and humorous.
Yeah.
Humorous. Weaknesses, none.
That's so well said for Leo. Oh my God, Troy gets it. Oh, that's so good. No, but really though, really,
Arrogant,
but yeah.
stubborn, self-centered, lazy, and inflexible.
Oh yeah.
I would say jealousy is another huge weakness for Leo.
Jealousy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Envy. I think it's like envy and
Envy,
jealousy.
definitely.
Like,
Yeah.
I think envy is like the biggest one. For the
Oh well, I could.
they hate it
definitely
when like somebody's fairer than them, for example. Or when somebody's getting more attention than them, like that can be a real problem for a
Oh, yeah.
Leo. They like to be the center of the show, which is, I mean, Leo is like the performer of the zodiac. They want to be up on stage in front of their audience, like getting the applause. That is like their fucking whole go-to. It's like
External
Madonna
validation.
is primary Leo,
Oh, yeah.
She's like, she can't even stand and dance anymore. She's holding on to a pole and like twerking now. And she's still out there and her face looks like that. Oh God, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
stretched
It
back.
looks a
It's
little better
Her
now.
face is starting
disgusting.
to scare me.
That's bad.
Disgusting. Madonna, you were great in the 80s. I liked it, but there's something wrong. You need to stop getting on stage, please. Or stop moving. Just be up there in a chair or something like that. You need to figure it out. You're done.
Yeah.
It's over. It's
Oh, yeah.
over, Madonna.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
She
done.
needs to do another milk bath.
She probably needs another facelift. That's what's gonna fucking fix it
Oh,
for her.
no.
I bet.
Oh,
I
this
feel
time.
like she's already had too many facelifts.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
And that's
saying.
why her
yes.
face is
That's
so
what-
scary now.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
God.
she looks uncanny valley.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Leo will try to keep hold of their beauty for way longer than they can, is what I've noticed in Leos that I've known. They hold on to that shit. They're very. I'm getting dark on Leo right away. I'll get nicer for a second, but they're very like vain. It's like they keep aiming to stay like young and vibrant and youthful for as
Oh, yeah.
long as they can. And it's often like well past the sell by date is what I'm trying to say. So
The milk is
that's
spoiled.
it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the more positive things hopefully
Yeah.
now. Nick,
Well,
you go. Say nice
no,
things about
wait,
Leo.
What can I respond to the end of that real quick?
Yeah.
Would
Go
you
ahead,
say
Troy.
that would you say that maybe a more slightly positive version of that is there one that typically would go down with the ship that they're on with their pride?
In theory,
A Leo?
Their
in
I
pride
don't
is
know.
Joking,
like
right?
but
what?
Would you say would you
I think
say that
Leos are likely to fight the pitched battle, even if the odds are against them. They are brave. You've got to give them. They're the lion. They're brave, even if they're dumb. They're going to be
yeah.
bravely dumb. You know.
Well, okay,
Um,
fair enough.
but
I would think
are
like
they
that's more Aries than Leo, though.
What, bravely
Being
dumb?
bravely
brave.
dumb, yeah.
Brave is like a Leo word
well
though,
but
usually.
but
But
brave is different from
Yeah, but
pride.
I wouldn't,
I'm
I
talking
would say
about
in my experience, a Leo is usually more concerned about covering their own ass. Like Troy's example, like, the ship
bias
going
at all.
down.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah, as an example, if the ship's going down, a Leo will likely jump ship and
You
get on
think
like a lifeboat, basically.
you think
well,
so?
I'm talking about
Oh.
the captain of the ship. I'm saying if a Leo was the captain of the ship, is one of their if they were not I'm just saying if they were a decently like good leader, would one of their Leo qualities to be going down with the ship because they take pride and
Yes.
because the
Yes.
failure of it that they would go that I'm just saying
In
it's a
theory,
typical
yes.
thing that the captain
Yeah.
goes down with the ship. I
Yeah.
was just wondering if that would align with an Aries.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Leo.
Yeah. In theory, yeah. I mean, a lot of Leos take some. I mean, like
Amber.
an older an older Leo, yeah. It takes maybe a little time, but
I'm gonna
yeah.
drive up there just to slap you
I mean, it's
There are
not like
good
I was
leaders.
raised
in
by a woman
Minecraft.
with 4 Leo placements or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That will fuck you up.
Yeah.
Because a Leo kind of thinks of kids as like their fashion accessories to a certain extent, like there's that aspect of Leo
Oh
where
yeah.
the children are supposed to like
You're just so
only
cute.
reflect well on the parent, right? Like
Yeah.
My
this,
mom actually said something almost verbatim like that when I was a child, still in elementary school. She basically told me anything we did reflected on the family.
And her mom's a Leo, just so we're
and
clear.
My
her.
mom's
Like it
like
was really
super,
her.
super Leo.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It was
Like
really about
Leo,
her.
Sun, Ascendant, Venus, and Uranus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
It's
She
very.
doesn't care how you reflect on your dad or whatever. She doesn't care
Yeah.
about how you reflect about probably. I'm sorry, I'm being very negative about Leos now.
It's fine.
I'll take a
I mean,
breath. I
I've
know
been
that
dealing
you
with
guys
Leos
don't
my
mind.
entire life. I know how
Oh
they
no,
are.
no, no. It's good. I mean,
I mean,
Leo.
I
Oh, go
got
ahead.
my placements.
Yeah, no, no, no. Leos are not like
They're perfect.
yeah, exactly. And there's a value in having that kind of mentality because like if we think about like we're living life, there's a value to having like just an almost unstoppable self confidence in oneself, and
Yes.
not like in like an area it's like I'm the best. I'm gonna win this battle. I'm talking just like I'm the fucking best. I'm beautiful. I'm awesome. Praise me. Like there's a value in that because like what a fucking nice way to live. Like you don't even give a shit what other people think. I mean you do, but you are so wrapped up in your own like sense of self worth that you're like I'm awesome. I don't need that shit from anyone. Like there's the self doubt is like
No, that's literally Taurus.
They know that they're a role. They're on stage. They know they're on stage. So they know this real truth of life that the world is a stage and we're all just players. And if you're all just players, you might as well be the most extravagant, extraordinary player that you can possibly be. And that is what's good about Leo energy is it's really out there and bold and it feels good to be around. There's a warming effect of a Leo that's actually in their creative state, not like I'm not talking about like the state where they're trying to lord it over people because that's the negative side, but I'm talking about the state where they're just showing themselves to the world often.
yeah.
Leos have like amazing creative powers, and like when they're not worried about everything else around them, when they're just really performing, it can be really entrancing and beautiful and vibrant and fill you. It's like the
Yeah.
warmth of the fire is the best part of Leo. It's like when they're in their moment of creation, it's like that's the spark that warms everybody around them, and that is the best that a Leo can do. I've met many that do that very well,
Yeah.
So
No, no, I dig it. I do agree with that because like there is like and when they're confident in themselves and like confident in like a not like a fake like overcompensating type of way, when they're just genuinely like the energy is positive, it's like yeah, there's like it is very, you're just like, oh yeah, I like being around this energy because yeah, it makes you feel good. And so like there is positives to Leo. Again, like it's not just like, oh, they're all bad.
Oh,
No, it's
good.
yeah, there absolutely is. It's there's a fun aspect to them. There's a playful aspect to them. There's a yeah, like I mean, Amber is over here just
I
glaring
mean,
at me because I'm speaking positively of Leo.
well,
But
no, I mean, I would say, like, to me, in my experience, I would say those attributes apply more to Leo moon than, say, Leo
well,
sun.
we're just talking about Leo in general. I know you really have a certain bias, but like
What?
well, which is understandable. But my point is, we're just talking the general archetype right now.
That's fine.
And
It's always colored by experience,
Side
right?
question,
Like that's
why do
how I
cows
was with
hate?
Gemini. So I
Yeah.
get
Why
it.
do
I
cows
get
hate
it.
so much?
why do cows hate so much?
I don't know.
Because
Cows are
we are
haters,
right.
man. They're
Moo.
Wait, what about you? I'm not
Is
talking
it
about you.
hating or is it
Yeah.
just critical analysis based on
uh,
what we see
Yeah,
in front of us?
yeah,
I don't
I
know
mean,
what you're talking about.
like you, Aries, the moves are also very simplistic and like, you know, kind of what you see is what you get, and we kind
Your
of just state the
moods.
facts, what is obvious right in front of our eyes.
yeah. Your eyes that are on the side of your heads.
Oh, she's in a
Gosh.
mood.
If I eat
Yeah,
her
she's
in
in
the
an angry mood. It is an Aries moon. I mean, you're right
Yeah.
in you're in your
Nice.
wheelhouse tonight. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
let out the bile if you need to.
Yeah, yeah. I will say, and let me just my final thought on Leo, and then I'll pass the mic.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Which is weirdly when it says Leo dislikes the facing difficult reality.
Oh yeah.
That is weirdly specifically accurate in my opinion. And it's not like to shit on them. I'm talking like there's a level of like they would rather like they have a hard time with that. There's like in the same way that we can talk about like the positives being like that they're just living this good life. They want to just feel good about themselves. But like when they struggle, when they have like something come into their world that is like difficult or a challenge or something that goes the way that they didn't expect, they do struggle with that. And like I just happened to like someone personal in my life who's a Leo just realized, that they have to pay taxes that they didn't want to have to pay. And they were like, it really hit them hard because it was like basically like they had this idea like, oh, well, things are good, blah, blah, blah. And then once the reality comes in, which is the opposite signs of like, I mean, obviously Aquarius is not necessarily reality, but it is Saturn ruled. But like, if you get to the other side of the zodiac, it's kind of like the reality is it go boom. And it doesn't matter how confident you are when you're smacked in the face with reality, they don't like that. And I do agree with that because like it basically goes against like the self-image that they've created for themselves. And so like when, and it doesn't mean that they deserve it or anything like that. It's just more of a matter of they struggle with adjusting to those types of things and having to
They tend to retreat. They
Yeah.
tend to retreat in defeat.
Yes.
And they go and they lick their wounds. They're kind of like Scorpio in that way, I'd say. I think Scorpio is pretty much very similar to Leo in a lot of ways, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
I think they tend to lick
Scorpio
their
is
wounds
just
like
Leo,
in
but-
silence. And then when they're ready to make their public debut again, they tend to have the big exit, the big flounce.
Oh yeah.
And then they lick their wounds and then they try to come back in with a grand entrance and be seen again
Oh yeah.
as special. And they're always kind of building up like people around them to reflect their specialness back to them. They're always working on their audience,
Yeah.
Do you have any do you have any Leo in your chart, Nick? I don't know.
He better not.
No, the closest thing that's
doesn't.
not the same would be a fifth house Mercury, but I don't necessarily think that's the same. But
Wait,
no,
you have
no,
a fifth house Mercury and what? Wait. Oh,
in
fifth house
Aquarius,
Mercury, yeah.
in Aquarius, but no, I'm just
Okay.
saying like that'd be the closest thing to something Leo-ish. I mean, I'm not saying the houses are the same as signs, but I'm just saying like that'd be the closest thing. But no, to answer your question, no.
I mean, I have Leo Jupiter in the fifth house, and I remember when the first astrology group went down, I like pulled the Virgo card, the Hermit card, and I totally hermited for like quite a while before I kind of regenerated myself. Like I hid from the public a little while, and then I came back out and tried a couple things that didn't work, and then I came back out and tried again, to set the original intention and build it again.
Oh
And
yeah.
that was like a very Leo thing. I was like hidden from the world, I was licking my wounds, and then I tried to come back out again, when I was
Oh yeah.
ready. And I
Kinda
feel
like
like
the
that's a
sun.
Leo thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, and it's I mean
Would you
with
say that
Jupiter.
Leo
Oh,
is all about? I mean, just because the sun's its ruler, it seems that it thrives off of repetition, or at least patterns,
I would say that if
habits.
they do thrive on repetition, that probably has more to do with Leo being a fixed sign.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that. I would say that Cancer is much more known for thriving off repetition, right? Because they've got the lunar cycle. The solar
Okay,
cycle is more like they're just themselves, like warts and all, like all the time. Like a Leo is kind of a fixed ego. It
I
doesn't
guess you're
change
right.
very much.
Because the
Aries is
moon
like
finishes the
learning the
cycle
ego.
quarterly. Yeah.
Aries is like learning the ego. Leo is inhabiting it to a certain extent.
It's fine.
And Sagittarius is more like finding new expansive ways to figure out more of the world and more of themselves. So it's like Sagittarius is where the ego finally gets kind of dashed on the rocks, a little bit more in it, and that like keeps it moving. So I would say that that's the general energy of the fire signs through them. Aries learns ego. Leo inhabits it, and then the mutable fire. It's about like finding a higher purpose rather than just your ego. And I'll leave it at that.
How are you hearing it?
oh yeah.
Virgo.
All right. Would you say
Virgo
that? Would you say that
should be working.
Leo dominates?
No.
Yeah,
there's
for
nothing
sure.
there.
All the fixed signs dominate to a certain extent. They dominate in their own fields.
And
Like the fixed signs are the consolidators of energy.
what's their
Almost
sense of
every good
justice?
what?
Sorry, sorry, I cut you off. Keep going.
Wait,
No,
do you,
I was just
what'd
saying,
you
what's their
say?
sense of justice?
do you guys sound like robots or is that just me?
I don't sound like a robot to myself, but
What?
Everybody sounds like people.
See?
What the fuck's going on?
Told you.
Is your earbud dying?
Well, one was Amber's did, but mine is at 84%. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. No, but huh. All good. Sorry about that.
call an ambulance.
It's
Virgo.
being held up by the ambulance.
Hold
I
on.
like amber lamps. Amber lamps. Call an amber lamps.
Yeah, no, it's crazy sounding. Let me we're gonna
Reset. What do you need to do?
yeah, reset because it sounds crazy.
Taught her how to hit record.
Yeah. There we
Well,
go.
that's good. I'm
It's
glad
not
that you
difficult.
did-
So Amber, all you got to do is hit record.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's easy. So you should be able to figure it out, I think.
Try
Um,
share that screen, buddy.
I
I
will
can see
share
him.
that screen
Oh, wait.
if you know what I mean.
There we go.
Get you back
Screen
on the
us.
scene.
Okay, you
Grass
took
is
it too
green.
far. You took it too far.
It's time to play. What do you say? Go into the place and we know it's okay. Just getting 80s on you.
Oh,
Feeling just a little bit fake and gay.
and a hip hop, a hippity hop. All right, let's go.
I said a hip, a hip. I hear it to the hip hip hop. You don't stop walking to the bang bang boogie. Set up jump boogie to the boogity beat. Is that how it goes?
Virgo.
Now
Close-
what you
close
hear
enough.
is
Earth
not a
element.
Yeah.
And it's gray, beige, and pale yellow. Because you know what? Meh.
Meh.
Gray,
For
yeah,
Virgo,
gray,
I mean, ugh. Ugh.
gray, beige, and shitty yellow. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
right. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Puce, maybe. I don't know. There's probably
Yeah.
some other gross names. Mauve. I don't know.
Mauve. What's mauve?
Mutable.
I don't
Oh,
know
that's
what
more
mauve
like a
is. It
pinkish
sounds
color.
very Virgo.
Queen mauve.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And then it's a Wednesday. It's a Mercury. Its greatest
Hey.
compatibility is Pisces and Cancer because obviously so.
Okay.
Mm. Mm.
Strengths: loyal, analytical, kind, hardworking, and practical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weaknesses: shy, worry, overly critical of self and others, all work and no play.
Virgo,
Oh,
the incel of the zodiac.
Oh yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Kind of. I
Well,
mean,
yeah. Yeah, kind of, yeah.
kind of. I mean, often they have sex, but I mean, I have a Virgo friend that got married, and him and his wife have separate beds, and that feels very Virgo to me. I can't even imagine it. It it seems like almost beyond belief. And he was young. It wasn't like he was an old dude. He was
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
his 30s, early 30s, and he got separate beds, separate bedrooms.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's the weirdest thing in the world because as
I think
far
it
as I
sucks.
no, hold on. Let me just finish my statement real quick.
Okay.
Not
Because
allowed. Not allowed.
falling asleep with someone isn't the same as sleeping the entire night with someone. So
Especially if
it's
they
like,
start trying to take over the entire fucking bed.
yeah, or you're a restless sleeper, or someone's a light sleeper and someone's a heavy sleeper. Hold on, just no, hold on.
I'm allowed to
No.
just
No,
say no.
let me finish my let me
Someone's
just
being
finish
too
my
honest
statement.
over here. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
making
Sorry.
it last longer than it has to be just because
That I want it to. I'm
well,
trying to draw
because
it
then
out,
you
a little bit more,
because then if you
Otherwise,
have to get
Aries
up
is
and
too
go to the
quick
bathroom in
otherwise.
the middle of the night, you can just go back to sleep in somewhere else where you don't have to disturb the other person. And
Yeah.
especially if you have to wake up at different times, you can fall asleep together, sleep part of the night together, and then you
Yeah,
go to your
but
other bed so you don't disturb each other. That's just
um
called love and practicality and logistics.
oh, you used one of the strength words.
That is a
Practical.
strength for Virgo.
Yeah.
So maybe you just got a
Hey.
Virgo planet that's trying to
Whoa,
express
whoa, whoa,
itself.
whoa. Yeah.
Do I have Virgo in my chart?
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
my whole.
No,
You
that's
guys know
probably
my
just
chart
your
better than I
Capricorn
do.
ascendant
Your your
talking.
um
Oh,
your
Capricorn
Capricorn,
could be like that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
your Capricorn rising's in the Virgo decan, if you consider that anything, but otherwise I don't think so. But okay. I Troy does make a good point if we're talking about Virgo.
I'm
Because
just
like,
talking about compromise. That's really it.
well, no, but like there is a level of like Virgos want things exactly how they want them. They don't want to be like disturbed. Like, I mean, the cliche would be like the person who like puts on the fucking sleeping mask, lays
Uh-huh.
down, gets the pillow perfect. Again, I'm gonna use the P word a lot.
Oh
Everything
yeah, for sure.
perfect.
You're talking
Everything
to me.
perfect. Yeah, okay. Everything has to be perfect.
It's
And
hard to
then
sleep.
you must have some Virgo hidden in your chart somewhere because yeah, it's an Earth sign thing in general.
Look again, astrologers. What do
No,
I pay
no,
you for?
yeah, wait,
Wait, you pay us?
yeah,
Holy shit.
uh,
Are you keeping all the money, Nick? What the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah,
Are
yeah,
we actually really popular and we didn't even know? And now,
yeah. All
I actually
all
did throw him some
39.
money. I did throw him a little bit of money to
He
say like
did.
thanks for editing stuff.
Yeah,
oh, that's
but
very sweet of you.
yeah, that was a while ago. I appreciate it, Troy. By the way,
It was more just like beer money than anything else. But
Well,
it
that
went to
makes me
good
want to
beer.
send you some beer money. Do you have a PayPal, man?
No, I have a Venmo. No, yeah. I mean, if you want to, but don't worry about it.
Okay. I
Yeah,
can't send it to a Venmo. I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
3 beers in, so I'm going to say gay more, and you can say perfect more.
yeah,
perfect.
Great.
Well, and those are both good Virgo words. Let's go.
Because Virgos read gay, no matter what they are. Like they
Yeah,
always kind of read a little bit
yeah.
gay.
A little metrosexual, like
Yes.
the fucking
Sure.
eyebrows are perfect. Everything's
Yeah.
perfect, and then it gives them a set like that's where like they can be neurotic, a little bit like obsessive, a little bit like kind of like control freaky, but like it's like
are they fence setters then,
not. I
No,
mean, no,
not really.
they know what they want. They know what
or
they need.
just
Like, yeah,
or
what?
non or more like non-participatory?
What do you mean?
They're participatory. They're Earth, right? So they get
Yeah,
involved in the world.
yeah.
Okay,
Eh,
okay,
They have very
uh,
specific ideas about how things should be. Not everyone might agree, but
gotcha.
they have very specific like this is what and in like for them it's like if they just apply it to themselves, great, they can do whatever the fuck they want. But it's when they turn it on other people that it becomes that they can be kind of assholes. So it's like
it's
if you want to like be do your fucking night routine, make everything perfect, have your breakfast of fucking overnight oats ready to go in the morning, fucking like take your vitamins, like follow all these routines and be all structured and perfect in your life, great, fucking more power to you. But when they then turn that onto other people, that's when they get the bad reputation, because it's like,
Yes.
if you're gonna like sit there and like tell other people how to live because oh well, this is how I do it and it works for me and it makes me the perfect fucking person. If you put that on another person, then yeah, they're you're gonna get pushback. So that's where.
Well, they're very good at criticism. This is known about Virgos. They're very good at criticizing others. They are tremendously bad at taking criticism. So this is why they get a lot of pushback to their criticism, because a Virgo is tremendously resistant to anybody else telling them what they're doing wrong, even if they're telling everybody else what they're doing wrong. And an enlightened Virgo might not be this way, but most are. But they are really patterned. They're like very good at like figuring out, they're very good at like pulling in a lot of information from the world, separating what's true from false. They're super good at that. They're an internal Mercury, right? So they pull in all this info, they separate the wheat from the chaff. That's their fucking job. So they're more internal, they're more introspective usually. And then with the good information, they're coming back to you. So they've often spent a bunch of time coming to the conclusions they've come to, but those conclusions are not always universal. And I don't think Virgo always understands like that just because they came to some truth, that might not be a big T truth, like a
Oh
big
yeah.
T truth. It might just be a them truth. And they get into a lot of trouble when they start like projecting what their idea of perfection is on the rest of the world, because that makes the rest of the world kind of want to fucking throw them in a volcano, so to speak.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean,
That
I
was my
wish we had
line.
an
I'm done.
example for
yeah,
that, but
no,
let's keep moving on.
yeah, good point.
Yeah, in that sense, I'd say Virgos actually share quite a few traits in common with Aquarius. I mean, the archetype of Aquarius, whether or not you personally identify with that or not, that's your business. But
I agree that we should
So
throw more Aquarians in the volcano as well, but yes, we're talking about Virgo right now.
okay.
Shut it
Um
down. Shut it down.
No,
so
they
anyway,
have
so when you were
perfect
explaining a lot of these traits, a lot of them were
Jason
aligning a lot
perfectionist
with
emblems. Go ahead, Troy. I'm
oh
sorry.
sorry, you cut out there for a second. Um
I said chasing
basically
perfectionist emblems. Uh,
gotcha.
that is a big Virgo thing.
Well, so one thing, well, that's even a better segue. One thing, perfectionism is it's a classic example of avoidant, or like fearful avoidant behavior. And so like it's because it's a flight mechanism. It's like the thing is
Hmm.
a fight or flight. One thing that's going to make it so that I am going to run from this fight, but I'm not only going to run from this fight. I'm going to run from every fight ever by never making a mistake ever again. That's
Yes,
perfectionism, you
that
know?
caution is kind of like that. I mean, there's aspects of Libra which we come into next. Libra has aspects of perfectionism too, I think. Um, but it's more like ideal perfectionism, less than a Virgo is more about like physical perfectionism, right? If you follow these steps, you will get the thing that you want done. It's like the IKEA like instructions. Virgo operates from IKEA instruction, that space, because it's like if you follow these steps, you'll get it right. This is the way that I figured out how to get it right. This is the way you should do it. I had like a Virgo dad when I was growing up, and I remember like
okay,
whatever I was fucking doing, whether it was like digging a hole.
I mean, not Virgo, Libra.
Am I cutting out?
No, you're good. Sorry,
Okay.
Amber was just saying something. You're good. Sorry, keep going. You're on a
Um,
roll. Sorry.
so my
I'm
Virgo
listening.
dad, I'd be like digging a hole or whatever, and he'd be like, "You should hold the fucking, you should hold the." He didn't say fucking that often, but sometimes he did. You should hold the shovel this way, and I'd be able to get shit done the way that I was holding it very well. But
Yeah,
if I
I'm gonna
wasn't
get my
holding it
stuff
the way
sorted, but I am going to
he
go have a
knew it
smoke.
was supposed to be held, that was a fucking problem.
You can barely hear
problem.
me.
That is like a big Virgo thing. Like if you're not doing it the right way from Virgo's perspective, they're an asshole about it. And that
Oh yeah.
is very frustrating to a lot of people. Virgos get a lot of hate for a good reason.
Yeah,
I hear
no,
in
that.
my opinion,
no.
because of that.
Yeah. No, you know Virgos very well. I think, and so we've talked about the negatives. The positives of Virgo, they can be attentive, they can be aware of other people because like they're not like fully aware of other people yet, like when you get to Libra, like you're saying, but they're at least they want to serve. I mean, that's one of their keywords is like service, but like it's more about like, yeah, like in the ideal, I mean, like, nurses, people who like it, Virgos are is one of the signs that makes the world go around, like in the
Yes,
positive sense, because like they
for
do the
sure.
shit that has to happen that maybe like people don't want to do.
Yes, that's
Like, and
true.
it's not always Virgo suns necessarily, but it's the Virgo energy. It's like they just do the shit that has to happen to make the world function. Otherwise, the world would just be fucking garbage piled up everywhere. Like fucking the sewers would be running full of shit. Like, I mean,
Be
just
like
think
India, if
So
we
exactly,
didn't.
are Virgos? Are you saying that they want to hold other people accountable
Sorry.
more than being accountable themselves?
No, not
sometimes,
all the time.
yeah, not all the
Actually,
time.
Okay. Just a
a
question. I'm
Virgo
trying to.
wants things to run smoothly, right?
Okay.
They want the trains to run on time, right?
Yeah,
And as people that they can be a little bit fucking fascist when it gets down to it, where whoever gets, and I'm not talking fascist like Tim, calling people fascist. I'm talking about like more the trains must run on time. If we have to fuck
Tim Pool.
these trains to run on time, we'll um, there's an aspect of that where it's an inflexibility that's part of Virgo, but they're
yeah,
almost always trying to help other people. They're almost always trying to like do good. Like they
yeah,
are very conscientious. This is like a big part of Virgo. They're conscientious people. They want to help. They want to be of service. And if you are somebody that's worthy of their service, they're super helpful, Like it used to be the house of like slaves or servants, like back when that was something that, was
yeah, yeah,
normalized.
yeah.
Um, so it's a house of subservience in some ways, which, or Virgo can be like, they're a really good, like, they're a really good employee in a lot of ways because they'll dot their I's, they'll cross their T's, they'll do the work the way that it's supposed to be done, and they don't complain about it to you very often,
Yeah.
if you're running them. They'll complain about it other places, right?
Beautifully
But
said. Beautifully said. Yep.
they don't complain about it to you. It's like,
Yeah.
and Virgo energy is totally needed. We need those people that they're healers in some ways, We need those people that will tell you the truth, even if it hurts. Sometimes the advice that they give you, it's good, but you just can't hear it, because of wherever you are in life. Um, so I think that Virgos play a huge role in the astrological ecosystem, and they're very useful, and sometimes they're useful tools, and that's unfortunate. The less their
So
tools, the better off.
Mm-hmm.
so
We
you
all
can
are.
say they're often burned. They've often been burned, and then could leave them slow to trust as well.
Not necessarily. That's more of a Scorpio trait. Like they're
Okay.
very selective. They're more selective about who they become friends with. And if you break any of their like rules, you can very quickly become not friends with them. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Virgo will write you off absolutely
Got
Yes.
if
Exactly.
you cross them. I guess I don't know.
Yes. Or if you're too intense, or if you're just too
Yeah,
much energy, or like, yeah, if you disturb their order and their like that they've created for themselves in their life, like, yeah, no, but they'll just write you off. They'll just stop interacting with you. They're not like gonna like, hold a fucking grudge and then like get revenge. They're just gonna be like, all right, I'm cutting you out of my life because they're very like, they do that in general, so they're gonna do it with people too. So it's like, well, this works, this doesn't, this works, this doesn't. Get rid of this thing, do it this way. So that also applies to people. It's
get
like
rid
this.
of this person.
Yeah. I mean, or just like cut them out of their lives.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the opposite sign, Pisces, will just let anyone and everyone in their lives and has a really hard time distinguishing, like, okay, you're not working for me. You're a bad influence on me. I'm going to cut you out of my life. No, they're like, they'll make excuses, but like the opposite, Virgo, what we're talking about, it's like, no, they're like very much like, well, you don't work for me. And all right, out of my life. I'm just going to focus over here. So it's not like they like will be dramatic about it. They're not going to be like all like fucking like emotional and stuff. They're just going to, oh, okay, done, moving on. It's that earth sign where it's just, they're very practical. That's one of their words. Yeah, practical. It's like they're just like, well, this doesn't work for me, this does. And they are like, they're one of the what, yin signs or feminine
Yeah.
signs, depending on what word you want to use. So they're not going to be like they're just gonna go like, all right, I'm done with you. They don't like I would argue fire signs are Virgo's most annoying. Like I think fire signs annoy Virgos the most just because of the energy
Yes.
difference. And it's like and it's just because they're too much for them. They don't want that. They don't want that kind of energy. They don't want the chaoticness of it. They don't want the overly energetic, like blah, let's go crazy, let's be wild. Fuck it, we fucked up, but who cares? It's like, no, they're like, oh no, I have my order, I have my how I want to go about things. Anyone who messes with that, I'm just gonna cut them out of my life. So
They
yeah.
do tend to like Scorpio chaotic energy, though. But
Yeah.
Scorpio energy tends to dom
Yeah.
Virgo energy. So there's something about that. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how that works, but it's totally a truth. Like
Yeah.
Scorpio energy kind of controls Virgo energy. I think it's
Yeah.
like that. Like the Scorpio is the M with the dick off it, right? And then the Virgo is the M with the legs crossed, like the glutes.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something that's connected between those two. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah. No, I've heard that they have the best sex together. So that's like one of the if you get a spot like a really like heavy Scorpio person and a heavy Virgo person together, they have wild sex. So I don't know if that's
Yes.
true or not because I don't
I
have
mean,
either.
I don't know. I'm a Libra, and Virgos have never done it for
Yeah,
me.
but I've read that. I mean, wait, you have the book too, Sextrology. Yeah. They talk about it in there. So yeah, but
Are we
that's
ready to move on to Libra? I'm
Yeah.
ready to burn myself.
oh, let's go. So wait, before we move on to Libra, so we've the first six signs are about development of the self. That's a cliche. After Virgo, it's the perfection of the self. And so after you've perfected the self, you've built up the self, you've figured out who you are.
You go out into the world.
Yeah. And then what's after the self? The other, which is Libra. So then it's about, okay, other people, they
Just
exist
to
too.
clarify, the
That's
first
why
six
Libra
signs are
is
Aries
in
through
fall.
Virgo. The
Yes.
second six signs are Libra to Pisces. Pisces
Yes.
being the final one.
Yeah. Yes.
Just clarifying.
Yeah.
The
And
fall seasons.
yeah.
And
'Cause
God is it in fall. We love
not
it.
not everybody has been studying this stuff for a long
Well,
time.
you know your shit, Troy. Look at you.
I
Look
just
at you.
listen to people I'm with, and I give women my attention
Penis?
when they're
Oh wait,
giving
sorry.
it to me.
Attention. That's what he calls it. That's his nickname for it. Yeah.
Yep.
He's like,
Attention.
look, I'm standing at attention. Wait, no, that's not quite right.
Would you like my attention?
Would you like some attention?
Yeah.
We're in it. That was good.
Yeah.
Air.
Libra.
Pink and green is right because
Okay.
pink is like the real Libra color, and then green is the Venus color.
Ah, gotcha.
Cardinal. Friday, yes.
Venus rhymes with penis.
Obviously, Aries is the best compatibility for Libra, even though it's the opposite because I married an Aries, so it must be the most compatible.
Well, and the opposite does work.
It's science.
Yeah, it's science.
No, I'm just kidding. It's still wrong, even though it's right for me.
Sag might work. Maybe Sag or Leo, like you said earlier. Okay, strengths.
Cooperative, diplomatic, gracious, fair-minded, social. Weaknesses, indecisive, avoids confrontations, will always carry a grudge, self-pity.
You added always in there, and I don't like that. I'm going to carry a grudge.
But not always. Yeah. Will carry.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Let's see.
Um,
Cooperative, diplomatic. Yeah.
I mean, so Libra is about the other, so it's about relating to the other. This is why the sun is fall in Libra on yourself. Sun is about yourself. Instead of focusing on yourself, your goal is to understand other people. And sometimes the only way that you can unlock certain aspects of yourself is through other people, which is really fucking annoying for Libras. Because you cannot just count on yourself to fucking figure it out. You gotta ask. Part of your goal is to figure it out from other people. So it's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb being a Libra. Nobody wants to be a Libra, but I chose it for some fucking reason in this
Yeah.
incarnation.
God damn.
But yeah,
Called isolation training.
we are cooperative. I would say that cooperative is totally true. We're normally trying to create good relationships with other people. We're normally trying not to cause that many problems. The diplomatic, like, we might cause the problems initially, but we will try to resolve them. You know, like that is the diplomatic aspect of Libra. Yes, we stirred the pot and created all these problems, and now we're stepping into the gap to resolve these problems
Yeah.
and trying to keep our hands as clean as possible. I think that that's like a dark side of Libra is like even when they're in the shit, they try to keep their hands clean. You know, it's like they're dealing shit under the table, but they got their hands up. Sad. What
Yeah.
else?
Yeah. Fair-minded, yeah. Social, yeah. Gracious. Gracious? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, grace is like when you even when somebody maybe deserves to get like pummeled a little bit, you let them go. You know,
Ah,
right?
gotcha,
It's
gotcha,
like saying
Grace
gotcha.
is
forgiving.
like it's forgiving. I think Libras are pretty forgiving.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a truth about them. Um, they recognize them. I mean, a Libra is cardinal air, so they generally try to understand the world through their mind. And they also like try to move ideas forward. The ideas might not be good, but they try to move them forward, you know, like who knows what the idea, it depends on the quality of the ideas. Um, and I would say that one of the biggest problems with Libra is they avoid confrontation to the
Mm,
detriment of themselves, right?
yep.
So
Yep.
instead of expressing what they're feeling in the moment,
Yep.
they step back and or they try to, you know, like kind of misrepresent a little bit, like move things. They can be a little bit shady in that way to keep things from blowing up because they hate to see open conflict because they're the peace sign, right? They're trying to
Oh,
like
yeah.
have peace.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but that's all I'll say about it. You guys tell me what you know about Libra.
No, I do agree. I think, yeah, the whole idea, like, yeah, they hate conflict is very big because it's like, yeah, they don't like, an Aries will just be like, yeah, fuck you, you're dumb, and then 5 minutes later they're over it. Like, Libra's like, that's too much energy for me. Like, they like and I mean, one of the negatives of Libra, I think, and I can speak for myself because I do have some Libra in my chart. Like, they'll say what they think you want to hear, but again, what you
Mm-hmm.
were saying, like, it might not be what they fully believe, or they're so focused, like in the negatives, they're so focused on like the other person that they just try to like build off of like, oh, well, what does this person want to hear? What is this person feeling? What is like, and instead of thinking like, well, this is what I think, this is what I feel, they go like, well, what is this person like? How is this person feeling? I'm going to react to that instead of going like, this is what I feel and see where that goes, because that might create conflict. Because if they're not highly in tune to the other person, then they might say something that the other person disagrees with or upsets them, and so then that can create quote unquote conflict, which it's like that's the bane of fucking Libra, because they don't want conflict, they want harmony, they want it to just, we're all chilling, we're all comfortable. And that's also one of the positives of them, because if you're, with hanging out with a Libra, like, you can have a really nice time. And I use the word nice specifically because it's a nice time. It might not be that crazy exciting or wild, but it's a nice time. You feel comfortable, like in a that sense, but it can also come across in a superficial or like they're full of like they're like they, they might.
You can say that the whole way.
Well, no, and thank you.
They're full of
No,
shit.
no, but I'm speaking for myself. And it can be a problem because they want like their intentions can be good and they are good usually, but it can sometimes. And so like whereas like an Aries could learn to like the opposite sign could learn to like a little tax, a little a little grace, a little like, okay, it's okay, I'm allowed to be calm here and not I don't have to say all the shit to fucking right now right here because I feel this way. Like a Libra could learn to like speak up a little more and be like, hey, like this specifically, like this specifically, like this, like, no, I don't agree with you, like, but it's okay. Like they always they guard themselves in that way. And it's not just the sun. I'm again speaking from my own experience with my Libra in my chart. And like they want to like, they don't want to rock the boat because then that means that things then they have to like adapt to that. Like, and this is another thing with Libra is it's it is Venus ruled, and we didn't touch on this with Taurus as much, but they do want it to be easier and nicer. Like,
Yes.
Whereas like a Mars ruled sign is like, well, fuck it, they thrive on the conflict. A Venus ruled sign is going to thrive on the niceness and like the harmony and like the keeping things chill. And so like when
Would
things,
you say they're daydreamers?
yeah, they can be daydreamers. We're talking about Libra. And and of course they're gay according to Amber. And
Gay.
yeah, gay.
Fake and gay.
Fake and gay. Yeah, they're daydreamers. I mean, they're idealists in a lot of ways. Like they kind of like will like envision like a nice harmonious world where everyone gets along and everyone's, we can all work together and blah blah blah. I mean, those are not negatives necessarily. Obviously, that doesn't take into the reality that it's probably not going to happen. But there's nothing wrong with wanting that or pushing for it. It just doesn't mean that it will happen. So I mean, yeah, they're dreamers though.
Libras in youth at least tend to be crusaders. They tend to be more ideological when they're young. And they tend to get battered by the world because they're so ideological when they're young, and they tend to be more cynical as they get older. This is like a thing that I've noticed. Most seasoned Libras are less annoying than the younger Libras.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
So
go ahead.
So more ideological than principled.
Yeah, Libra is not that principled. This is definitely something because Libra doesn't stick to ideology usually. If new information comes in, even if like, say that a Libra says this very strong statement about what they believe to you, and then like 3 months later, because they went through this series of like learning about the thing that they had this strong belief about, they might change their mind. And then the next time you talk to them, they're going to say, maybe it might even be the opposite, because sometimes Libras go from one, it's the scales, right? So sometimes they pop from one to the other. So they might even be on the opposite side of the thing. This is why they're known as like devil's advocates, because they usually try to understand both sides of arguments. And sometimes one is going to pull them more than the other. So they can end up like bouncing back and forth. And that can be really annoying to anybody watching them, right? Because you're like, what do you actually believe? What do you actually believe? But if you could see inside their mind, usually there's something that's causing them to switch. But
Yeah.
it's very
But to everybody else, it just seems like the breeze is changing
it
direction.
seems like flaky, right? Like but usually if you get in with them, you can like kind of figure out like where it comes from if you actually ask them where it is. Because they can usually like they're Libra, they're air, right? They can usually explain like what they're going through or how they came to certain positions. Like it's usually aligned to it. But the biggest negative of Libra is they basically put down their own self. This is why they're fall and sun, right? They put down their own self in order to be more open to others, right? To be more open to others. But they also, at the same time, they're manipulative, right? Because they'll manipulate others for their own ego needs And that is like their biggest like negative.
Yeah, and
So
their and their ego need is like to keep things peaceful and nice, and like so it's like when we think of like manipulative, we think of like, oh well, you're just manipulating because you want to like get a dollar out of me, or you want to control my behavior. Well, they control behavior because they want to they want to keep the peace, they want to keep things nice, they want to keep things like they're not out to like manipulate to like start a war. Quite the
Yeah,
opposite.
for
They're
sure.
they're they're
yeah,
out to manipulate to keep a war from happening, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, that's an
Yeah,
exaggeration,
for
but
sure.
Libras are really good at war though. This is like an interesting thing. If you like
okay, yeah.
if you look into like generals, like some of the key generals, especially in American history, some of the main ones were like Libras. Like Dwight D. Eisenhower was a Libra. Um, I think MacArthur was a Libra, if I remember right. I might be wrong about that one. He might be Leo. Um, but there's like several like really key because Libras are strategic, right? They're like always
Yeah.
aiming for something. They're cardinal. They're moving forward, right? They're trying to get shit done.
And they can
And
see
they
both
know
sides.
because
Oh, go ahead.
all their goals, every Libra goal is going to require other people to achieve it, right? That is like the biggest curse that Libra has is you need to bring people along with you. So you've got to somehow figure out how to persuade other people to come with you towards this goal that you're aiming for, which takes like a fucking ton of social skills. So Libras have really good social skills, and it's like that can be a positive and a negative. It's like their charm can be a positive and a negative. It can be used to like, harmfully on people, or it can be used to like bring people into more amity, bring people into more connection. It's like we're very dual. A Libra is a very dual sign. Um,
Mhm.
you get like both sides usually over the course of time if you know a Libra. And it's not quite the same as like the Gemini both sides because when a Libra is unbalanced, fuck, they're pretty intense. Like they're not when they're imbalanced, they're not peaceful at all, is what I'll say.
Oh yeah, they're always yeah. If you're a sun specifically, or like have like Saturn or like certain planets of like lessons or Jupiter, then yeah, finding that balance is more important. I think because like that's part of their path is to learn that balance, and that applies to every sign. So like if your sun is in a certain sign, you're going to learn you have to learn the traits of that sign. Whereas like if like say like your moon, or even like if you have other planets in the sign, like depending on the planet, it shows like whether you need to like either learn the lessons of a sign or learn the qualities of a sign. And like like it's just yeah. So I think that's important because it's not just like every planet and every in a certain sign has the same things
Yes.
going on, or the same lessons, or the same whatever. So
Well, Saturn is exalted in Libra, and I think that
yeah.
that's important to think about. Like, why
Mhm.
is Saturn exalted in Libra? Because what you give out comes back to you almost immediately. You
Oh
learn
yeah.
lessons really quickly with Saturn and Libra because your energy that you put out to others comes back to you very quickly. Your karma ripens very quickly. And that is why Saturn is exalted in Libra because
Oh yeah.
you learn really fast if you're confronted with the results of your actions very quickly. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That I
and I
agree with that.
I feel like that's why it's there.
Yeah.
There's one more thing that I want to say about Libra before we move on to Scorpio. I'm just gonna try to figure out what it was. What was it? Fuck.
I mean, if
God
I
damn.
had one criticism about Libra,
Oh,
like a sincere criticism, not all of my shit talking that I often throw out at Libra, um, it would be that I think Libra, one of the lessons anyway, regardless of where that placement does, is I guess to be more comfortable with war, or without, necessarily trying to keep the peace, because I think sometimes war is necessary, basically if we want to move things along and try to inspire any type of change, basically. um, I think sometimes I do get annoyed with Libra if I see them um, putting their own needs on the back burner for the sake of keeping the peace. um, and maybe that's my what.
oh, I was just saying, you're talking about me.
I'm talking about Libra in
Aries moon.
general.
Yeah.
But sure, you as well. But no, I mean that would be like one of my biggest uh criticisms, if you want to call it that,
Sure.
about Libra.
Well, and to be honest, the one thing is like when you Libra really fits into the flight and fawn uh 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 trauma response. So you essentially that it ends up being because fawn is basically that, oh, I'm gonna be people pleasing, I'm gonna do what I want, and so it's like I need to keep the peace because it controls my internal state more than I do. And so that's part of the thing is that like that kind of trauma response comes into because other people in your reality essentially are dominating or whatever, can be true or not true depending on your statement, but that's still your psychological state, you know? And I'm just noticing like the pattern in these things is like how maybe I would find it really interesting to look at different people's astrological placements to their psychological, because it's just like, oh, okay, I have this thing, parents aren't listening to me and I need to figure this out. Granted, you are going to do trial and error, so some of it is going to be like determinant on your environment, but
Yeah.
at the same time is that it's also like, okay, when you start to get older and you start to have more options and you start to change your patterns and have more, do you start to then move into what's more of your astrological stuff, strengths and weaknesses, because those are basically your strengths and your weaknesses. So obviously you're going to move in, so it's certain things that would be your strengths and you turn them into weaknesses or whatever, which is a commonality of all this stuff. Um, is essentially, okay, do I do I take my people pleasing nature, and do I do that with boundaries, and do I do that competently with everybody else, or do I do it out of fear because I have no other option?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the Libra. I mean,
Yes.
as far as I can tell, so I'm a different kind of Libra because I'm a Mars ruled Libra. Like my Mars is my chart ruler. I have Aries rising. Mars is in Scorpio, which is a Mars sign, you know. Um, so I like cause the problems and then clean up, right? Like that's kind of like how my energy goes. Like I cause a lot of disruption, chaos, and then I try to make it so that chaos or disruption comes to some kind of conclusion that's actually beneficial. That's like my goal. I don't always hit it, but that is like what I'm trying to do, right? So it's like, and when I was younger, I was much more of a people pleaser. And as I've gotten older, I've become I still have that aspect of myself. And that's probably based on like childhood or whatever, but it's less and less my main goal. I don't care as much as I get older if other people like what I'm doing or how I'm going about life. Whereas when I was younger, I really restricted a lot of my expression based on what other people would think, or whether it would create like a negative view of myself in another person's eyes. And I feel like that's a big Libra lesson. It's like nobody is really gonna, I mean, how do I even say that? So getting too hung up about what other people think about you is the biggest Libra weakness because they close off a lot of their solar energy, a lot of especially for Sun and Libra, they close off their ability to be who they are by confining themselves in that way. And I think that's the interesting thing about the Libra Aries opposition too, is like Aries is like action with no theory, and then Libra is like theory with no action, right? Um, Too much in the head, too much thinking about right choice. And Libra misses all these opportunities in their life because they're not willing to like make the decision because not making a decision is still making a decision. And the sooner that Libra figures that out
As
for their
Rush
own
said.
life, the better off they tend to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? As Russia said?
As Rush said. And if you don't and not making a choice is still, anyway, I can't remember exactly what
Yeah,
he
it's
said.
true. Not making a choice is still making a choice. I mean, it's like letting an opportunity pass is still making a choice. Are we ready for Scorpio, or do we need to dig in more on this?
No.
No,
Good insight.
I think it's really interesting just how much the psychological attachment styles and trauma responses are corresponding with a lot of these things, which makes sense, you know.
I think you're going to love Scorpio.
Oh,
Scorpio is the trauma response sign.
Oh, yeah.
I've responded to some Scorpios before.
Welcome to Trauma Town.
Yes, yes, I've met her. Um, element water, scarlet red rust. Yeah,
Nice. Hot.
like getting
Hot.
shot by Alec Baldwin. It's a fixed sign. It's a Tuesday. Pluto and Mars, and Pluto is not even a
How
planet.
dare you?
So
You shut your whore mouth.
dare you?
Pluto's a planet. I don't care what they say.
Yeah. Yeah.
oh yeah. So like science speaks on that. You know what science also says? Cusp my balls.
Oh, he's gonna go there. All right. Hey, you know what?
Science says to
Greatest
cup your balls.
compatibility is Taurus and Cancer. Would you say that you get along with them Scorpios there, Amber?
In my defense, I'm a Scorpio ascendant with a shit ton of Pluto aspects, so it's hard to say. I mean, yes and no. I mean, obviously, the Scorpio, Plutonian, and Martian energy, for that matter, it feels like home to me. But so
Yeah,
does
for
the
real.
Taurus energy.
All right. Well, there we go. There we go. All right. So lucky numbers are 8, 11, 18, and 22 because
Gay.
facts. Yeah, well, it's a fact that gay people exist too. So you know what?
I mean,
Facts.
I'm not saying that that those numbers are homosexual. I'm saying that are gay. That's different, you know? Like, do you know what I'm saying?
The way you cut out
You know how
there,
that's different, right? I'm
I
not saying that they
I
fuck each
loved the
other in the
cut I
ass.
had
I'm
because
saying that
I missed many of the words.
okay, cool. What are they good at?
We'll see where the strengths: resourceful, powerful, brave, passionate, a true friend. Weakness: distrusting, jealous, manipulative, violent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty right. I mean, Scorpio does not trust very easily. And usually there is a lot of tests. Scorpio is very famous for tests of other people, right? Like they allow people to get closer to them very fucking slowly. It's probably not great for them, but this is a normal Scorpio thing. You pass the trust test, you get let in a little bit closer. And the reason that they do this is because they have this sense of the world as generally a not shitty place, but generally people are
Dangerous.
disappointing. People will betray you. You're not safe in the world. These are all like Scorpio energies. Um, there's dark forces that are at work. This is another Scorpio energy. Um, but the good thing about Scorpios, they're investigative. Like they can go into the deepest hole and come back out. They're gonna like learn about the cabal, you know, they're gonna learn about like um 9/11. They're gonna like ask the questions. They're gonna like not trust what's told to them at face value. And we absolutely need those people. The same as we need like Virgo to be the kind of shitty roles that nobody else wants to step into. We need Scorpio to dive into the depths, look into the darkness, hopefully learn from it and come out transformed, right? Like that is their main goal, is to get the real deep understanding.
Oh yeah. No, I'm with you on that. And then yeah, they're willing to, like what you said, like they can go there and come back, which is not easy to say for most other signs. Whereas like, and like whether that's with themselves or with other people, and so like they could be someone who can, be with you when you're at your worst, and they won't necessarily judge you in the same way that like other signs might. They can just kind of, be a witness for you, or just kind of sit with you, or just kind of support you, and they can handle
Yes.
that energy. Whereas like a lot of other signs really can't. They might just like shy away from it or run away from it. A Scorpio can, and that's where like they can be healing. Like they can make good healers in a lot of ways. Like whatever, define healer how you want, but like they can, because they're able to both analyze and dive deep into like, the, whether we're talking psychological or physical health, or the holistic side of health, and like look at like, okay, these are the things that you've got going on that are keeping you trapped, that are keeping you, the issues that you have. I'm willing to go there with you and figure them out, and then bring you to a better state of health. And that's like so they do make really good healers when obviously they,
For real.
they've suffered a lot, they've struggled a lot, but in doing so they can turn that around and then also help others with their own suffering, their own trauma, their own whatever. So, and they can, because they have, like, that's where it's like being like Mars ruled. It's like they have that strength to do that as well. And so it's not just
Are
like,
they
oh, go ahead.
are they
But
generally good at picking their own battles?
yeah, they're great
Yeah.
at battles. Actually,
Yeah.
a Scorpio energy
Oh
is
no, no,
really good at fighting. Like
but
it's
not
a
just that. But I mean, I should say picking the right battles rather than just picking any fight. Picking a fight for a fight's sake, or are they picking the battles that they should be fighting? Generally saying.
depends. I mean, a Scorpio has like an ego that's a developed ego. It's a lot like Leo ego. So when their ego is hurt, a Scorpio is retaliatory. This is like why it's the sting. This is why Scorpio is kind of one of the, probably Scorpio and Gemini have the worst reps of all the signs, I would guess. Traditionally, I think because of my work, Libra is up there now too, and Virgo is probably up there. Capricorn is maybe up there, but Scorpio probably has the worst rep because when they're unbalanced and when they're chaotic, they can be really destructive. Like they don't mind hurting themselves to hurt an enemy. Like
Mm.
that is like the big dark side of Scorpio. It will go balls deep into a feud, into like whatever they're trying to get into, and they don't care. It's like it's not that they don't care; it's because they care enough. They're willing to like fucking immolate themselves to harm another person, and that is like
That's super
the
anime.
real dark side of Scorpio. It's if people treat them with disrespect, people treat them, betray them, especially like betrayal for Scorpio is like the fucking worst thing you can do. And you will absolutely make an enemy for life if you betray one. And if you ever fight with a Scorpio, just know you're going to get back whatever you put at them. They will retaliate all the time. Like it's almost compulsive um, when it comes down to it. And it can be self-destructive. This is like the other aspect of Scorpio is they are kind of self-destructive. Like they deal with all this dark shit all the time. They're willing to get into the mud. They're willing to fling the mud. They're willing to like do a lot of shit that other people aren't willing to do because it is driven by emotion and is driven by very tightly held emotion um because it's fixed water, right? It it's interesting. Scorpio is like probably the one sign that is generally really I mean fucking with them, you're always gonna get some kind of reaction, like So if you want a reaction, they're a good person to fuck with.
But then, yeah, it
Done with the
never
line.
ends. Yeah.
What?
Then it never ends, though. You know, like what you're saying. So it's if you want to start that shit,
Well,
then
it
Yeah,
seems
it never
like
ends.
be prepared for the
Revenge is
battle.
not a good thing, right? It's
Yeah,
just a
yeah,
nature. It's their nature.
yeah.
it seems
Well,
like Scorpio as is like really dependent upon other placements. You know? I
yeah.
mean, I know that's true with everything, but like but especially cuz this is basically just like um a lot of this is basically this is how I deal with problem solvings and this is the way I deal with my reality. This is my sense of justice and it's different from other people which gives them advantages, but at the same time is that nothing in this necessarily says what their worldview is or what their moral set or what their ideology is. It's kind of like it's almost like they're a great leader, warrior, or whatever, but they could actually fit into any ideology or any alignment, kind of a thing.
Scorpio's more of a general than a warrior. They more
Yeah,
like
yeah.
martial energies towards something, right? They're manipulative in the sense that they draw people towards them through charisma.
Hmm.
Um, Scorpio has like usually some knowledge because they do go inwards a lot, right? So Scorpio energy is inward directed. It's about like kind of exploring your own fucking underworlds. That's the main goal that they have. You explore your basements, bring up the shit, deal with it, transcend. And there's like three symbols that are associated with Scorpio. It's like the snake is kind of the lower symbol, or the scorpion is the lower symbol. Um, Eagle, which is kind of rising above that need to that need it's more noble. Like Scorpios kind of come in different styles. The really dark Scorpios are going to be like the Charlie Mansons, you know. The higher Scorpios are going to be like the Martin Luthers, you know, like where they're challenging established shit that no longer works. They love to cut out the rot from society. They're like a very, very attuned to how things are not working or how they're working to dominate or harm others. And what fucking Nick was saying earlier about them being healers, I would say definitely that's like a core trait of Scorpio, and they heal people by helping them to see their own fucking shadow. Um, Scorpio is a natural shadow worker. Most people don't like to do shadow work because it sucks. So Scorpio is often like unfairly castigated for what their basic job is, you know? Um, so they're very protective of their energy. I'll stop there.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel that like they don't mind being the hand of karma?
They don't mind being the villain usually. Uh, they don't mind.
I
No, they
guess.
don't mind being the hand of karma. I would say that Capricorn is also like that a little bit. Um, Aries
You
just
know,
is the hand of karma sometimes because, you know.
but it's like, what? I didn't do it.
Yeah. Aries is the fist of karma, but they
Yeah,
they just will
with
punch
no lube.
through the wall.
So what's Scorpio's card on the
Death
tarot?
card. It's the death card. It's
Oh, is it?
putrefaction, right? So the opposite,
Oh.
Taurus is like bloom. It's spring, right? It's like the
Oh,
shooting.
oh. Yes.
That's why that's so connected with the Fae and like the
Yeah.
earth spirits.
Oh, yeah.
Is
That
because the
makes a
earth
lot
coming
more
back to
sense.
life in bloom, right?
Yeah.
And
It is, yeah.
Scorpio, yeah, that it's the Hierophant.
Okay.
But
That's what I
Scorpio is
thought.
the death card.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, just why
Birth
we're
versus death. It's connected with
what
death. It's connected with the occult. It's connected with the deep mysteries.
Yeah.
so as we're on it, what's Gemini's uh card placement?
Lovers.
Lovers. Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. And then as we're at it, let's what's Cancer's tarot card?
Chariot?
The Chariot. Yep.
Wow.
Chariot.
Amber.
I don't know
Remind me
all
what the
of them off the
Chariot
top of my
is
head.
again. Isn't that
7.
like the
Card 7.
yeah.
What is oh, we're not
The
Aquarius yet.
star.
What is it?
The star.
The figure in the Chariot has a wand in his hand and is determined. Look on his face. He's going places, but not much is going in it. Not much is going to get in his way. If he encounters an obstacle, he'll move right past it. He's going places he to conquer. Not to
Scuttling.
mention sweet wheels. You've found the vehicle you need to progress on your journey. Full speed ahead. Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense. I guess Cancer has a
Strength
can-do
card.
attitude.
That's Cardinal.
Leo is the strength card.
Okay.
Virgo is the Hermit.
Okay, they're in order.
Libra is justice or balance.
Yep.
Scorpio is death. Sagittarius is art or temperance. And
Okay.
Capricorn is the devil. Aquarius is the star.
Hey.
Pisces is the moon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Aries is the emperor.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
Taurus
Emperor.
is the Hierophant.
Very cool.
All right.
I like it.
Good to know. All right. Sagittarius. Sagittarius.
I love
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite signs, but it's the sign that I understand the least.
Fuck yeah,
I-
let's go.
I love
I don't-
Sagittarius energy, even though 80% of the time Sagittarius energy makes me want to punch them in the face.
Oh, they
I
are
do
the
love
most
that
punchable
energy.
people in the entire zodiac, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
What is it?
They're so
play-
bratty.
playfully smug fire signs for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my, what is it that I have Sag, like it's my ruler? What is it? What was that thing we did?
Sagittarius.
Folks, I love you,
Oh,
but we have
it's
to
your,
take like a
signature
5-minute
for-
break so I can pee. Could we do that really
Yeah.
quick?
Oh, that's
get
fine.
in?
Yes.
I want to get some
Break.
more boot.
Break.
Yeah. Here,
Pause.
we can go like this and we can.
We
Yeah.
don't have to stop anything. I'll be right back.
What?
Well, I want to get some booch too, so give me just a minute.
What are
All
we?
right, it's blowjob time, Amber.
Nice.
Wait, what? It's still recording? Oh no. I'm kidding.
You got 30 seconds. That should be all you need.
Hey, got him.
What happened?
He said, I've got 30 seconds. That should be all I need.
Wow. But yeah, these shoes really do smell horrible.
Yeah, please, thank you. We took them off there, please.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's starting to annoy me.
What the fuck? Tarot spread. Tarot porn. Troy, what are you looking up? Tarot porn. Oh, okay, let's go. Did you mean tarot spread the legs? Oh, that got you back.
It's not even been 5 minutes, so
Well, within 30 seconds, but that's fine too. You just came back because you heard tarot porn.
I did not hear anything.
Oh,
So
I was kidding. The release and let go tarot spread.
But no, your signature sign is actually considered ambiguous because it can either be Aquarius or Sagittarius.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
What is that
Are you
website?
cusping balls again?
I'm curious about. Yeah, we're cusping.
That was on I think it's AstroSeek that has
Troy, we gotta
yeah,
look up
signature
yours.
sign thing.
Yeah, I'm curious about Troy's.
Well, he does have a lot of fire placements.
Yeah.
So
Astro Seek. Oops, Seek. Astro.
I think I don't understand Sag because my Neptune is there, so it makes it
Ah,
all fuzzy.
fuzzy wuzzy.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear.
See.
Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he?
What's it called? Signature sign? Apparently, Sag is my signature sign.
well, no, yours is ambiguous because it could be.
Is there
Aquarius
Sag? Do
or
you have Sag
Sagittarius.
rising or something?
No, I just have a lot of planets in Sag, and Jupiter strongly, and something else.
Okay, I guess we're back on now. But you're saying signature sign. So does that
There's
aggregate
something.
your?
Is that the word?
That's the website.
It aggregates exactly. It takes your whole chart and basically like weighs, like say you have like something in a certain sign. It weighs the dignities and abilities. So like it weighs like you have
It's based mostly on like the modalities and the elements. that you have.
and like what planets you
most
have in certain signs, and it basically it gives you like a weighted like thing of like this is the most prominent energy in your chart, and like it assigns it to a sign. So like for me, I believe it's Sagittarius or Aquarius, but
Yours
The
is
most
ambiguous, so yeah.
philosophical of all the signs.
Well, that's really cool. We should do a tarot episode where we talk about how tarot and astrology line up, and then we could also like run our charts with that, and
so
that's at least half an episode right there.
yeah,
Not a
let's
full
do it
episode.
next
Just
time.
I mean, at least going through the 12 signs with the 12 cards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have my tarot deck out here. I'm gonna pull a spread that we'll do it as soon as we get done because we're on the last sign.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't need to pull a tarot spread. My wife's kind of mad at me, so we got to get through this.
Oh, because it's late. Yeah, it's understandable.
All right. Well, I guess it's for me then. You guys don't get my wisdom.
He Schultz understands the importance of not pissing off Mars and Cancer. So you
That's
have to
true. I
respect
do
him for
understand
that.
it.
He understands
Too
it,
much. Too much sometimes.
I'll
Yeah.
just slam a lot of cabinets.
Yeah,
They
I'm
are
learning. I'm
very
learning.
good at slamming doors and cabinets. I know when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing every time. You know what I'm saying? Every single time.
I do know what you're saying.
It's
I
called
do.
communication.
Hey, you're not supposed to say that out loud. Come on.
Oh.
You will be punished. That's all I'm
No,
saying.
it's mine.
Give me my drink back. She stole my drink. That's my punishment.
I
Yeah,
can make you another one.
I know. Okay. Anyways, let's finish
What
it
are y'all
out.
drinking tonight?
Rum and Coke.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. That's a classic.
Oh yeah, it's delicious.
Is it Mexican
Yeah.
Coke? Because I like to drink it Mexican Coke.
Oh no,
because
that they are the best.
Yeah, I'm just making jokes about bums. So
Yeah.
Speaking of bums,
Sagittarius.
Hey,
the fire sign,
Jinx.
color
The
blue.
homosexual of
The
zodiac.
homosexual of the zodiac. That's totally true, though. It's totally true.
He's the
They
old
are
arrow man.
good at sex, I think, because I've noticed that Sagittarius is very sought after by many people.
Oh.
But they never they've got to have good energy. It's got like the mutable fire, I think, it works for them.
Yeah.
I hear they're down for multiple sessions pretty much all the time. Good for them. Good for them.
Good.
Day is Thursday. Ruler is Jupiter.
Yes.
Greatest compatibility is Gemini and Aries. I'd say the
No.
Aries might be more true, but
I mean, Sagittarius and Libra work very well together. Sagittarius Aquarius works pretty well.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I mean, it all depends. I would say Sagittarius is not really a big relationship sign in general. They tend to be like movers, you know. They don't want to stay in one place or tied down to one thing for too long. energy, Um, and sometimes they're like they just travel in their mind. There's some Sagittarians that are like more intellectual travelers, but the ones that are real travelers, they're like kind of gypsies, like they are really people that kind of follow the truth wherever it leads them, which often will not give them a very stable life, which is not necessarily the most attractive thing long term for a lot of people. Um, I don't know. Let's get into what are their strengths?
Strengths: generous, idealistic, great sense of humor.
Yes.
Weaknesses: promises more than they can deliver. Very impatient. Will say anything no matter how undiplomatic.
Yeah, they're known for just saying the shit that's on their mind.
Oh, yeah.
They're known for harsh truth. Like they're known for being the people that will tell you the truth unvarnished, which is annoying. So a lot of people get upset about that.
So they spit fire, but do they burn the house down?
Sometimes. Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes.
But they don't mean to. They're not trying to there's not there it's not coming from like a vindictive or like shitty
No.
place necessarily. They can just fucking, they're if you got a giant boogie hanging from your nose, they'll say you got a giant boogie hanging from your nose. You might be embarrassing, but they're gonna fucking say it. So it could be just basic shit like that. It could also be like, I'm gonna tell you what you don't want to hear. And then, hopefully 5 minutes later, like again, being a fire sign, like kind of similar to Aries, where
Is
like
that
they'll say their shit and then move on.
Well, like, are they going to give you that feedback because it's their worldview, or more of like golden rule kind of thing? Can they put themselves in other people's shoes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Okay.
sure.
It's just calling it out. I mean, if we want to go to the like they just see what they see, and they think they're right. And so, a lot of times they are right, but sometimes they're not, but they think they're right. And so they're gonna say what they think is right. Like if that makes sense. And that's where
Okay.
like
So
So
they
the
yeah,
act
worst
out their
aspect of
they act out
Sagittarius is the high horse shit, right? Like if
yeah,
like this is Sagittarius is a smug, opinionated asshole if they think that they've got the absolute capital T truth, and they will be sometimes they might have it, but I haven't met the one that has it yet. But sometimes I've heard that they might have it, but they will be absolutely condescending to anybody that does not believe the same things that they do, if they're really caught up in their truth. And often there's parts of it that are really right. But this is the thing that I've noticed with Sagittarius the most is like whatever they think is true becomes truth to them. And then they can be kind of assholes to anybody that doesn't believe the same thing. They can be kind of bigoted. This is something that's associated with um Sagittarius's bigotry, which is really kind of crazy, but it's the bigotry of like I know I'm right and you're all stupid. It's like that kind of bigotry.
yeah,
It's interesting
yeah,
to see it play out.
yeah. Like
Especially like if we apply that like to the Pluto and Sagittarius generation.
Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of the wokeism started to form and really come to the forefront of society as we
yeah,
know it right now.
yeah.
I think that was
Um,
the Pluto and Scorpio generation, but they kept it going for a while.
Well, and okay, let me build on that because she's right about
I see
like
what you're saying.
yeah. It's they can be kind of zealot, and so like okay, during Pluto and Sagittarius, we had a lot of like religious zealotry, whether it was like Islamic terrorism or like even like Christian terror, like a lot of like this. I believe this thing, so I'm gonna do this thing. Like, and then now we have the Pluto and Sag generation growing up, and they strongly believe this thing, so they're gonna do this thing. Like Luigi Mangione, for example. So like like
yeah.
it's like they can take things to these extremes, like where like it's like I have this fucking idea. I'm gonna pull it. And again, this is one example. There's a lot of examples where it's like they're very they and it can be positive too. Like if you strongly believe something, you're gonna make a fucking difference. Great, do it. But like it also can come across. It can be a bad thing too. And so like
Yes.
if you act in a way that, but like there's like it's they also in a positive don't get tied down by like things like tradition and like certain things about like how like oh well this is how it's been so let's just keep going about there like no like fuck that that limits my freedom, that limits my ability to be myself, that limits. So like there is a positive to that, and that can also be seen like the woke culture. Like I mean they if maybe they didn't start the woke culture but they definitely embodied it and strengthened it, and they kind of have carried it forward. Now a lot of them have also rebelled against that. That's a whole another discussion.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of
That's like the thing that I would say is like, so if you look at just like the voting record
yeah,
of, so the millennials went Kamala, the millennials did, the boomers did, the X went Trump, and the Zoomers went Trump. That's like the X generation and the Zoomer generation basically were the votes for Trump. And I think the Zoomer generation just understood that they were going to get sent to Iran or whatever if they went for the one.
yeah,
They were going to get
yeah,
sent to Ukraine or whatever, like I think that there was a just fear of being sent overseas that was part of that.
yeah,
Um, which it
uh,
shows wisdom actually, because that probably would have happened. It might still, we'll see.
yeah,
But I thought that was interesting that the Zoomers went the other way, because usually youth does not go in the conservative direction. It
yeah,
just doesn't, right? But the Zoomers did. So I like them a little bit. I think that the Pluto and Sagittarius generation, they're going to be really disruptive, um, because they're going to, whatever their belief is, they're really going to follow it, like even if it's a wrong belief, because Pluto really strengthens or empowers whatever it's in. So that generation will get caught up in like ideology or belief, and it'll be crazy.
yeah.
What comes out of it, I think.
And yeah, and that can go both ways. I mean, let's be real. Like that can go to like crazy ideas that are wrong, and not just
Crazy ideas
wrong,
that are good. Yeah.
and also good. Exactly. So it can go both ways, and I think we're seeing that with that generation. Like they're kind of like you have extremes of both. Obviously, you can come up with examples of both extremes, but like I think yeah, in general, especially as they get older, because like I think Sagittarius in general, not just like that generation, but Sagittarius in general, they do when they're young, they might be a little more impulsive and crazy. But as they age, I think one of the things with Sagittarius is not in the same way that like Capricorn as they age, but like when they age, they get a little bit more, more philosophical, more introspective, more understanding of things, and not so
Yes.
impulsive and not so just reactionary and all these things. And so yeah, like as they age, they'll kind of ideally get better. We'll see. But yeah,
I think the Sagittarius energy, a positive wisdom as they age,
yeah,
they keep their optimism, whereas Capricorn tends to gain a negative wisdom as they age. Like Capricorn gains wisdom by realizing like how much shit is bullshit, like, but
yeah,
Sagittarius gains wisdom by, oh, these crazy risks that I took, these are the ones that paid off. That's the real truth, it's like,
yeah,
it's more like what expands them, right? Whereas uh Capricorn grows by subtraction, Sagittarius grows by addition. They get
yeah,
some thing that adds to them and they expand,
yeah,
um it was really fun watching Sagittarius go through the Saturn and Sagittarius transit, because they had the regular luck that everybody else has for a little while and they hated it. It was kind of fun to watch as an outside observer, because one of the things that you notice about Sagittarius is they land on their feet way more often than not. They take risks. Their risks usually pay off for them in weird ways. And if you're like a person that like a Gemini would take a risk like that, and the world would absolutely curb stomp them and teabag them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
but as Sagittarius takes a risk, and usually the world is pretty happy for them.
Oh yeah. No, it's and whether it's because, if we're getting into the whole idea of like they create their own luck or it's just
Yeah,
it's innate in the universe.
positive frame, positive
Yeah.
mental attitude, right?
Well, yeah, and it's, whatever the case is, it's that energy. So it doesn't matter whether it's, coming from the outside or coming from the inside, it's still the same idea. It's that energy of like, and maybe, other people and other signs can kind of maybe learn from that in the same way we can all learn from all the signs. But like from them, it's like, yeah, like maybe your attitude does shape some stuff, and maybe having like a positive mindset does affect like, the whole. I mean, The Secret, that book, that silly book, came out during
Yes.
Pluto and Sag. And that's just kind of like a cliche
Oh,
example. It's an exaggerated
yeah.
example of it, but again, there's this idea of like, yeah, you can create your own luck in a way, or at least,
You
yeah,
can. I mean, I've
yeah,
seen
yeah,
it happen for people. So it's like,
yeah,
whether it works for me or not, I don't know if
Well,
I have the positive mental attitude all the time for it. Because part of me is like, this is obviously bullshit, right? But a Sag can believe their own, like Sag can believe their own bullshit almost on the same level that a Pisces can. And they're both Jupiter ruled, right? Jupiter gives you the ability to believe your own bullshit, like to a level that other people
mhm.
cannot.
yeah.
Well, I think it's true. You can create your own reality. You can assert your own thing, but it's all going to be within the context of the karmic lesson that you're in at the moment, and in with the thing that you're trying to do. Because we all have multiple karmic lessons that are set up for us. So it's like if we're like, oh, I'm going to get a new car. Well, we have certain things and certain lessons that are going to be implemented depending on which cars we choose, which outcomes we do, and it's just like uh yeah, it's just there's a whole bunch of different options and they're all going to do different things, and uh it's the subtleties in how the vibrations and how we feel when we're making our decisions that is making us drawn, because basically everything is a different field, and it has its own energy and it's attracting you, and depending on where your frequency level is, and especially your frequency level when you're thinking about that subject, because if you're thinking about a subject, it's going to basically bring you to the frequency level that you think about that subject when you're thinking about that subject, and then you're going to then resonate with the things that are on that frequency level. And so then from there, you're going to have positive and negative attractor fields, which are basically higher and lower frequency within the range that you are in that frequency, you know?
What I'm hearing a
So,
lot is Sagittarius are freaks, frequencies,
uh,
freaks.
They're
yeah, but
frequencies.
the 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 point is that, being a fire sign, uh,
You
and
are a
so
fire sign.
I am, but not Sagittarius. But I'm just saying,
Doesn't
uh,
he have all the same
well,
size
you
placements
were
that you?
saying that they expand by getting more, and that's how they expand their flame, you know?
Yeah. I think
And
that they're probably Sagittarius is connected with frequency a lot more. I would say it's fire, right? So it's like I would say they're trying to get a better understanding of like the truth in the world. That's their main goal. That seems to be the focus of Sagittarius is like gaining truth. It's like the archer, they pull back the arrow of truth, they let it fly and then they chase after it, like that's their whole life is like chasing after truth. The negative aspects of Sagittarius is when they feel like they've found truth. The searching aspect of Sagittarius is like the cooler aspect of them, I think. When they feel like they've found it, that tends to be when they become more ossified or calcified and
okay,
become less fun. They can be like the worst religious zealots, for example. Like Sagittarius is known as it's why they got connection with bigotry. It's like when they believe something fully, it's like over, It's like they're never
yeah.
going to check that out again.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I'm also noticing that like Sagittarius seems more dopamine prone, that they love completing the task and moving on to the next one, kind of mentality, you know, where it was like Virgo in hindsight seems very serotonin, where it's just like, oh, that just feels good. Let's just chill here. Everything's great. Let's just you know? And so anyway,
They definitely are dopamine. That's I would associate dopamine with Sag. Well said there. Yeah.
I'm towards the end of my night because I've got to go take care of my puppy that I just had.
I
Uh,
hear that.
I
You
didn't
had a
have the
puppy?
puppy, but we just bought it. That's what I
Oh.
meant. We just
I
got
mean,
it. We
cuz
didn't even
cuz
buy it.
Nick's having a kid, like he's birthing it out of his body like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Junior.
No, he's not.
Exactly.
Out of my butt.
Yes, he is.
What kind of puppy?
Oh,
You're not having a
I
butt
got you a
baby.
Christmas present. That was it.
Love you guys. It's been great being on Astro Bros tonight.
We need to see the puppy.
Yeah, wait. There's a
Do
puppy.
you want me to bring the puppy up? Okay.
Oh my
Oh,
god, what kind of question is
We
that? Of
need
course.
ratings, don't we?
Yeah,
We
holy
need
shit.
ratings. Come on.
Yeah. It's a puppy, for fuck's sake.
Everyone wants to see a puppy.
Yeah. It's a goddamn puppy.
No, I was seeing something online and people were talking about like, oh, it's a deal breaker if they're not a dog person or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't even have a dog, but like, it's
And get a
basically
dog.
like no, hold on, let me finish my statement. I'm just saying it's basically a deal breaker for me, even if I don't have a dog. If they hate dogs, you know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you that you would hate
True.
dogs?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I could get that you're like, oh, I'm more of a cat person over a dog person, but to hate dogs, that would just be like, you don't have a
Ugh.
soul.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I mean,
Her up here. I'm just showing her off.
It's like hating
I'll take a
happiness.
picture.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't want to be happy. I think, you know, it's just like, no, there's something wrong with you, not happiness. See what I'm saying?
God, yes. Oh my god.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Hi, puppy. Hi, puppy. You were so cute. Oh my god. Oh my god.
This is Liza.
Oh.
We have our thumbnail.
Aw.
Liza. Oh my god. Oh fuck. Hi, Liza.
This is
Good girl.
Look at her.
Good girl, Liza.
Cute.
Oh my god. How old?
That is the cutest dog ever.
Oh, she's like 3 months or something.
Oh,
She's very
oh
cute.
my god. Oh my god. Oh, what the fuck?
Well,
Oh,
she's
you-
a Scorpio, so how far away? Where she's like 2.5 months, I guess.
Yeah. Oh. Hi, Liza.
All right. Well, I
So
gotta take her back
adorable.
downstairs. It's been wonderful being on Astro Bros. I'm glad that I
yeah.
got to show you my puppy.
Oh
Good
my
night,
god.
y'all.
Yeah. Good night.
Talk
Good
soon. See ya.
night.
Peace. Oh my god. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
cute dog.